Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper coming at you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully you're doing well and hopefully looking after yourselves. And hopefully you're having a great week and stuff like that. It is a busy time in Raidshadowlegends right now with everything going on. You know, you should be resting really after the fusion, but with the Mathala life pain, as you would have seen from my earlier video, we did go pretty hard for the points and for Mafala. I'm going for the 5-star myself. I think there's a lot of utility, even with how stacked my roster is. I do like the idea of getting a 5-star roster and stuff like that. So I'm quite competitive in the arena and stuff like that. And it's going to be a hell of a grind, but it's going to be worth it. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Today's video is a juicy one. I've been playing around with my WIXWELL comp, and recently I made a video probably about 3 weeks ago. I'm a personal best Nightmare team, but I've been trying to improve it and make it better, and that's what I've basically done, right? And I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, I don't have Chris. Well, guess what? I've replaced Chris in today's video with a epic and stuff like that. So I'm really happy with this. We're going to go through the whole team. I'm going to do this video completely different than how I normally do a Hydra video, just because like with the auto runs, as long as you with the auto bit, you don't need to really watch that bit in the video, and I want you to take more details from other bits I'm going to throw at you today. So I'm going to pin and make like timestamps down below for you guys, and you can go back to this. So like start of Hydra, the end of Hydra, the things that I could have done better and stuff like that, right? So I am going to tell you the epic we're going to be using today and replacing Krisk. The epic is no other than DEMYTHA. Now DEMYTHA made her debut on my channel probably much the other day on my YouTube channel. We've seen her plenty on my Twitch, but we're not really seeing her on the YouTube channel. So she obviously, we built her out in Hydra Clan Boss, Clan Boss for a additional team with Fushan. I'll ping that video at the end. You can go ahead and check that out. And it's this ability really what we bring her in. It's not actually for her third ability, which is the block damage and continuous heal. It's actually her increase the duration by 1 turn, which is what we generally using, right? And we're gonna have put her in reflex set and stuff like that. We've got the presets ready to go. The start of this run is manually, so you will need to pay attention to this video. It's a bit different of a speed tune compared to the WIXWELL or Chris. Go again, you will need to pay attention to this and pay attention to some of the information I'm going to give you in today's video. I'm going to try and get it all out. Obviously, if there's any questions and stuff like that, you can obviously drop the comments down below, or you can come into my Discord group, which I'll ping. You'll find all my like channels like Twitch and my Discord in my links and my descriptions and stuff like that. I go live every day pretty much, except for Monday really, 6 p.m. GMT time, which is England time, to around about 1 a.m. So you can come and check me out if you've got any questions there. So let's get into today's video then. We're going to go over this team. So obviously it's a WIXWELL comp. We already kind of get the gist of that. This is the team that we're going to showcase. We have basically the same kind of comp. A few champions can be replaced. So the ones that can be replaced are potentially is DUCHESS with Ironhide or Brogni Underpriest. I've seen Underpriest use this. Just bear in mind, if you can use Underpriest, it's a bit more difficult because you're not going to have the Veils when you've got Torment up and that type of rotations. But if you've got DUCHESS, or if you have this champion, Ironhide, who was a form fusion back in the day, is a High Elves champion who has Veils and stuff like that. Raidhide, sorry, not Ironhide. Raidhide, right? And stuff like that. And then obviously DEMYTHA can be replaced with Krisk, and I think there is a Lady Makagi version as well, but I don't know the speed tune to that. So the DEMYTHA is the replacement. This is a nightmare run. You can lower the stats needed for brutal and hard. I really wish I had a second WIXWELL, because I can actually build 2 WIXWELL comps if I had another WIXWELL. And also like the fusion, this fusion that we just done with one of the hounds and stuff, he can be used as well with this comp with WIXWELL, but he replaces EMIC, and it's slightly different. You got like a Painkeeper and stuff in there, so it's a bit more, maybe a bit more friendly further down. I don't think it's so high up. Could be used in Nightmare or stuff like that. I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen the team. I just heard about it from my community and stuff like that. So we're going to go into the beginning and we're going to talk about the setups, because the setup is fairly different, right? So what we're going to do is, ideally, when you first come in, you want the Devour to go on your Duchess. So your Duchess needs to have highest critical damage and stuff like that. So obviously you build a high critical damage, Devour go on her, and I'll explain why shortly later in the run, which is pretty useful. You can see we've only got one shield set up here, which is going to be quite useful. But we need 2 shields up, right? Which we're going to get to in a second. With Nima White, she's actually going to be the fastest on this comp, so she's just going to open with the Hex ability on the AoE with the Hex set, and you're going to use a AoE decrease speed as well, which is quite useful. I've got Cruel as well, it's a little bit useful as well, and stuff like that. Now with EMIC, you're going to open up with the A2. What this will do is this will put another shield on your shield set. You will need at least 3 shield sets to make this work. It will be very difficult to make this work, but it is easier for the stats across the board than the Chris comp, right? So you're going to go ahead, you're going to put the shield up there, and that's going to give you 2 shields, and then you just need to keep growing it, just like the WIXWELL comp with Chris, right? So you're going to go ahead with that. DEMYTHA is going to, and then going to extend the debuff straight away with the shield and stuff like that. Now you can have Duchess faster or you can have it slower. Doesn't really matter. Maybe with when Wrath's back up, if he provokes or something like that could be useful. I've just left my Duchess the same speed and it worked perfectly fine and stuff like that. And then WIXWELL comes in with obviously his shield extension as well, which is quite useful. YANNICA, you'll just do the A1, and then the bosses will take their turns. Obviously, Duchess will put the Veils and increase attack up. Now, the Veils are quite important because of Torment rotations and stuff like that. And then you're going to do the reset on WIXWELL. And that's the key bit. You're going to do the WIXWELL on that. So with the Chris comp, you're going to open with the A3 on EMIC and then the A2. But on this comp, you're actually going to open with the A2 on EMIC and then go into the A3. You're not going to speed tune and synergy your team yet, because what you're going to do is you're going to use Nina White to reset WIXWELL and keep growing them shields until you get the Devour on around about 4, and then you're going to start getting your team into sync for that. And then you then hit auto and be on your merry way. So as you can see here, we still put up the taunt and unkillable there, which is perfectly fine. You're then going to have that shield growth again because we're extending, so we're extending the debuffs already, which is pretty nice. You can put AoE here. Now, it is worth noting, if you want to put your Nima White instead in shield set, other than your YANNICA, then you can put your YANNICA in the Hex set, right? Because once you got the Veils up, it's AoE, so it should be quite consistent with the Hex as well, and that can work as well, right? You can do one or the other, but EMIC needs a shield set, Duchess needs a shield set, and then you need one more on, obviously, Nina White or YANNICA, and then the other one needs to be in Hex for that ability. And then you're going to have Reflex on DEMYTHA, and you're going to have Reflex on WIXWELL. Now, if you can get Merciless on WIXWELL as well, that would be really useful. I don't have the stats that we're looking for in today's video because we're doing Nightmare, so I've actually put Refresh on there as well. So I've got 2-piece Refresh, and I changed the masteries from War Master over to Unshakable to give me the resistance I needed. So we're going to open with A1 again. And then Duchess, you're just going to A1. You're going to turn off the A2. You don't need the A2 on. Leave the A2 on cooldown. Because like when you kill the heads later on, if you kill YANNICA with the reflection, you can revive her and then put the block boss back on her with increased attack and be on cooldown. You've got debuff extenders in here, 2 debuff extenders. So Your veils will be debuff extended throughout if your comp is in sync. So you don't need Duchess to keep putting that stuff down. Keep it for when you need it, just in case you need it. Then we're going to do the shield growth there on the A1 on Emmerich because he's not on cooldown yet. And that is really important. So if you see that on your Emmerich and you're used to a WIXWELL comp, don't, to the crisp version, don't panic. You're perfectly fine like that. And then we're going to be ready again to extend the debuffs with DEMYTHA. And then you're going to come in with A1. And then you're going to do AoE. And then AoE. Then AoE. Now it is worth, you are going to put up the ally protection on DEMYTHA at some point. Sorry for Nemo White on everyone. But what you need to do is you need to wait until everyone's in sync, because what this will do is this is going to put the buffs on Emmerich, and you also need to put WIXWELL's A3 on Emmerich. So just make sure he's got 10 debuffs, same as WIXWELL, just to make it more even. And you want really to go for Emmerich other than a WIXWELL, because WIXWELL should be built with around about 480 resistance. I've actually just built in straight out with 500 resistance. I can't be doing with RNG. I haven't got the patience to wait for that. But generally, you do want to build around about 480, because later in the run, it'll make your life easier to have them stolen from Mischief and stuff like that. But at the start of the run, it drove me nuts. So I just went straight out 500. And to be honest, I didn't even try and put him at 480 for this comp. I just left him straight at 500, and I'll go straight through 500 with him and stuff like that. Don't use Lightning Cage on any of your champions, for Christ's sake, because using Lightning Cage on Emmerich is so deadly, because what happened is the buff will go onto Emmerich, and then Lightning Cage will be active, and then he'll put up the taunt, but the taunt, guess what, won't be there, because the Lightning Cage has replaced it, and then that'll break a comp and you'll get devoured. You need to be keeping up your taunt so you don't get any champions devoured until you are ready to nuke them. So you're going to do the A1 like that, and then just carry on, and then you're going to hit auto at some point. Again, we're going to grow the shields there, which is very, very juicy. And then we're going to carry on like so. And then you're going to reset WIXWELL again. Ready to go. You got Devour in 8 turns on Duchess. Perfectly fine. Don't panic. Don't panic. And you'll be fine. You can see there that we could do the A1 again on Emmerich. And you actually notice that the taunt was on a 1-turn cooldown. So the taunt is going to come into play anyway. So then there is a WIXWELL A3 again. So again, it's another extension, another growth for everyone to benefit from, which is super lovely. And then you're going to open from the A1 on Nemo White. So she's on a 2-turn cooldown on a reset. And then you're just going to come all the way through. And then there is a taunt. And then this is basically you in sync now, right? You don't hit auto just yet. You want to try and get the A3 up now from WIXWELL on your Emmerich. And then leave the A3 ready for when the shields grow for the rest of your champions. You can see there goes up the ally protection. And then we'll put out the WIXWELL buffs as well at some point. And we just wait and wait and wait. It is worth noting as well with DEMYTHA, she does have block damage. So for the rotations where we're struggling with because of Wrath, that block damage will come in handy, especially when he does the passive ability. So that block damage is definitely not out of sync. You just don't want to leave it up, because if it gets stolen, you can't do anything. And you can see there at turn 21, we reset Emmerich with Nino White, and then that's you in sync. You hit auto then, and you let the shields grow. You let the shields grow and stuff like that. And that's it, you auto. So I'm not going to play this all the way through, because it's completely pointless watching it now. You just leave it. If Mischief steals when you debuffs, your shields are not big enough. until generally, well, we'll say on the next point. So if that does happen, just cut it straight off and go again. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? So I would say I would let you just play through and you can enjoy the music and stuff like that, but it's not going to be a case. I'm just going to pause the video and we're going to come back for the second part in a second, and we're going to go straight into the nukes and talk what I'm doing and stuff like that. Okay, so here we are. We are on the second part now. So I've let it run all the way through, obviously, to do its job, and we're going to go to around about a bit later on, where you'll see me start doing this on manual, which would be around about here. So as you can see in this clip, you'll see me counting all the debuffs on all the champions, because what we're trying to do is I'm trying to get all the champions with now the highest. So what I'm trying to do with all these champions is have them all on the same amount of buffs, but also maybe have some with higher buffs if you can. At the moment you can't. So throughout this whole run, WIXWELL and EMIC need to have the highest buffs because they're the ones with the higher resistance. I didn't really find DEMYTHA have the same buffs as them. So again, like, I didn't really bother about her too much. Build on high resistance and perfectly fine. I've actually run this a few times today and I've been tweaking things throughout the runs and stuff like that. I hit 3.5 on Brutal, then I accidentally hit Brutal as a nightmare. Then I hit 3.5 billion again, and then we got the number we got today. But I will explain how I could have got so much more, but you'll see on the end of the club that it was actually RNG'd with the heads and stuff like that. So the shields are big enough. It's around about 20 minutes on full auto. It's been on. If anything, they're probably slightly bigger. So what I've done now is we took it off auto, and I'm now starting to share WIXWELL's E3 with the champions with the low resistance and trying to equal out the buffs to attract mischief to come in. Now there's barely any damage, so we haven't killed any of the heads, so we haven't lost mischief. So that is perfectly fine. We're gonna come in here, and then as you can see, we put out a protection up because we're trying to buff up, try to put as many buffs out as possible. So we start targeting people with low resistance and stuff like that. Obviously, you have to wait until he targets people with low resistance. Now, overall, this rotation is more difficult because you've got two heads, I think, Suffering and DK, who can remove shields. So this rotation's a bit harder for that reason. So I know a lot more people are struggling with WIXWELL comps and stuff like that. But it's just like Trunda as well. This rotation is probably the worst rotation for Trunda comps. So that's also gonna be fun. So I'll be very happy next week if we start tanking, because obviously it will save us a lot of hassle and stuff like that. So like I said, you can see here, I've just put on DUCHESS, the A3, and stuff like that. Just the same as the Chris comp, in all fairness. And we're breaking this down nice and juicy. And we're just waiting for the first Big Bang Theory. I like to call it the Big Bang Theory because you're blowing up stuff, right? You're waiting for them to steal your shield. You're waiting for them to spread it. And we're waiting for them to do the Big Bang. So, or YANNICA to do the Big Bang. So we're going to go ahead and speed up now. Like you can see, it's pretty juicy. We're going on and on and on. And you can see these shields absolutely massive right now, which is fantastic to see. You'll notice as well on my DEMYTHA and stuff, like she only has like 4 and 5 turns on the shields and like Nemo White and stuff. Don't worry if you have that, that's perfectly fine. It wasn't causing me any issues compared to the Chris, because that was confusing me a little bit because I'm used to seeing Chris with like 15, etc. It's just because the turn orders are different and the speed tune's different, and that's just how it's working. And stuff like that. So let's go to the first Big Bang. I think we did wait a while actually for him to steal the debuff, so I just hit auto again and waited for him to do it. So I think he actually stole Emmerich's fun, which has got like 580 resistance or something like that. 530. Oh no, so he stole DEMYTHA, sorry. So you can see there he takes DEMYTHA's debuffs there, which is cool. So we're ready to start our damage process, right? We've been in the run for 30 minutes, and you can see here everyone's got massive shields, which is great. I'm just carrying on sync, I'm carrying on going, just doing what I would have been doing on auto, waiting for Mischief to do that spread. Now, you would see here, DK has just done his A2 on, he's just done his A2 on Blythe. So he's took the shield away and he put the life barrel up. So we just lost damage there, and there's not much you can really do like against that unless you want to try and run a provoke set somehow and get lucky. But again, that's just RNG, right? Maybe you can go 2 shield sets and then try and go with that. But I think with 2 shield sets you're going to struggle with on Wrath rotations to keep yourself alive. But that's just something that you could potentially try and do to stop him doing that. That's completely RNG, right? Like there's not much you can really do. So that's just something to watch out for this, etc. And then we'll carry on doing what we do. And you see here, she's going to go straight into A3. We get 979 million. I would have got 1.2 if he didn't cleanse this, but hey ho, what can I do about it? Not much. And then again, we're just going to go straight into the comp. We're going to do the A3, and we're just going to carry on. And you'll see me here. I break the speed tune, I break the sync. I'm actually going to reset Nina White because you can see there's still shields here, here, and here, and that is damage potential. So I just reset her with that ability. Now don't forget YANNICA could take extra turn on the A1. So even if you've got a 1 turn cooldown, just do the A2, get that extra turn, preferably in a head that doesn't have a shield, and then go and do the A3 and you'll be perfectly fine. As long as you've got increased attack up and don't have decreased attack, you should be fine, and as long as you're in the veils as well. So you can see there that he actually takes the Duchess, and this is why I like to have Duchess with the highest critical damage, or a different champion that is not important like WIXWELL or EMIC with the higher critical damage. So that's one thing you can do. You can also do DEMYTHA, but DEMYTHA would be perfectly fine. Wouldn't do Nemo White. Nemo White, WIXWELL, and EMIC are really key to this comp, to keeping this speed tune and get it back in speed tune, because I do get this back into speed tune, right? So again, you'll see me come through. And this is the perfect example, right? I've got the 1 turn cooldown. We're going to do the A2, the extra turn, and then we're going to do the big bang theory again, which is going to give me a big pop. It's going to give me my Duchess back, and it gives me a billion damage. And that's what we want to see. We're on a 1.2 million right now, 1.9 billion right now, and we want some more damage, right? So we're not going to get the combat round. I think I get like another 200 million or something here, potentially. I can't remember, but I'm just trying to get his comp back into rotation, because unfortunately Devout actually finished, went on to YANNICA then, which is a bit unlucky. So yeah, you can see here no cooldowns. So we just go back into sync, and I try and then kill the heads after that, which you'll see once they cleanse the shields off in a second. They barely got any health, and then it's just a case of RNG. If I kill the rest of the heads, I got more chance of getting Mischief back, and that's what we want, right? We want Mischief to come back. So you can see here we're just doing our stuff as we go through. And so you can see here we had like a little bit of health there. Just did A1, and we've killed the head and stuff like that. So, and then we're waiting for the rest of the champions to come up. And you should see my face when I see Mischief back up here. So Wrath came up first, and I was like, oh, you know, like, oh, not so happy. Then I saw Mischief, I was like, yay, because I know like my run was over. It's worth noting, like, if Mischief doesn't come back here, then the run is over, right? You don't have enough damage to kill any of these heads other than doing this big bang theory. So there's no point really keep running. That's where the extra damage comes now. You've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 champions with shields potentially that can get stolen still in this run, so it's not over yet. And that is potentially still another 1.2 billion per a champion, right? So that is a lot of damage, and we do get a bit more damage. As you see, there's another 6 minutes into this. So Mischief does go ahead then again and stuff like that, and we're already set up, like all the heads are set up. If anything, it's easier now to have our debuff stolen on our champions, because if you get lucky in WIXWELL and stuff like that takes resistance, then it definitely is a lot easier. So here, as you can see there, he takes YANNICA this time, and then we just carry on normal, just get it, stay in sync. We're waiting for him to do his thing. Try not to screw up here because of that. Now I actually have a head dead here, so obviously that doesn't get shield. So again, bit unlucky with the RNG. Not perfect RNG by far, but we're gonna do the big bang. I get another billion, cool. And then we're going to go into YANNICA again because I can still see shields, which is more damage potential, right? But shields are that big, like we're not fully capping out at these shields. So I think that's what it is generally why we still have shield, because I think there's just generally a cap of that 1.2 billion. So we're going to try and come back around for that. So we just wait, and then YANNICA's already ready with the A3. So I'm going to go ahead. We get a little bit extra there, like 300 million. Nothing too special. And then I reset again here because I still have more damage. Stuff like that. I think I reset here. Do we reset? Oh, okay, we're going to EMIC because we do get a bit more damage. Yeah, there was Torment. I think we just got a bit more damage from here, if I remember correctly. And we just stay in sync because we don't want to get devoured, right? If YANNICA gets devoured, oh, there you are, extra turn into the A3. We clear it. We get another 300 million. Kind of just getting at that pickings, right? Like we're picking at it now. That's a big heal, by the way. I think we get another hit off somewhere. Big heal from here. Okay, yeah, we go into the A1 again. And then we're gonna go bang. This killed this head somehow. I don't know how, because it had no shields on, but it was cool. Killed him. And we dealt with it. And then that's how we got the 3.9. Now, I do kill the head, so now it's a case of I still have another 3 champions with massive shields on them. It's not about a case of trying to replace these shields with Duchess and stuff like that. It's a case now I'm still looking at these 3. Now I killed YANNICA with the reflection. Because we got Duchess, I was able to revive YANNICA and keep this run going. And I think that's why Duchess is better than Ironhide. I know a few people would argue with me that she isn't, but this is generally why I have the high crook damage. This is why I'm able to pull off this type of damage fairly more consistently. This run was a bit RNG today. It was very, very difficult for myself. It wasn't easy because I got a lot of bad RNG and I've been recording this for a while. And this team is not easy to run overall. And I'm still running, I'm running because I've still got 3 champions here, with one with low resistance and the 2 had to have high resistance. And even White, she still has a nice big fat shield with low resistance. So I'm just seeing if Mischief pops up here. And unfortunately, we don't get Mischief. We got Wrath. But if that's Mischief, the run carries on and we keep going. We're not even procced the turn count of the 1000 turns or 1500 turns yet, so there's still plenty of turns within this run where if Mischief did come up, that this damage is so much higher, and that is just generally the run for that. So yeah, there is my team. I'm going to show you all the builds now, all the presets, and we're going to go into it as quick as possible without trying to make this any longer than it needs to. So let me show you the presets of the team, and we'll do that first. So you can see here, pretty juicy key. So if you don't have a Chris key, you're trying to do WIXWELL, well, guess what? It's doable now. Where is it? It's around here somewhere. Okay, here we are. So it's slightly different, right? You're gonna come in with the E1 and then the E2. Now, there's no point really putting the opening here because you have to do the start manually. You can't do it any differently. So you may as well just leave it like this. And then you're gonna shut off this one, and then you're gonna open with the light or deep. And then the same here, you're only going to use this when you need this. So that's when the parts that you have to manual. And again, you don't actually need this because I changed the speed tunes for this. So you can now just open with the E2 straight away. YANNICA, you're going to switch these off. DUCHESS, you're going to switch these off. I do leave the revive on just in case I make a mistake, because she doesn't use revive unless she needs to. We turn this off, and you're going to wait until EMIC is in sync to use this ability. And then you're going to leave the A1 on, and you're going to open with the A1, and then you'll leave the A2 as a priority as 1. You can see the speeds are kind of quite different already, which is pretty juicy. So let me show you all the good stuff, right? Now, DUCHESS and YANNICA speeds are not changed. The builds are not changed. They are exactly the same as you can see here. We do have some HYDRA bonuses. DUCHESS coming in at 169 and 300 critical damage. Good resistance as well. Now, resistance is not needed on DUCHESS for this team, so you don't need to worry about it. It's part of my Chris comp. I've not changed the builds. I'm just saving a little bit of silver, as you do, and it does the job already. So let me just show you the gear and stuff like that. I do sometimes like 470 resistance. If you can build it, it's very, very useful. These are arena masteries, so there's no point taking the look of these masteries. I have sheep on her for a reason. So if you do have a spare Duchess, I do have a second Duchess, but honestly, with a 6-star blessing, it helps with the critical damage anyway. So and the survivability, and it also is worth pointing as well. Like, you need much damage reduction with this team to reduce it, especially not using Chris. Well, she gives you a nice juicy passive of receiving less damage from Wrath because of the passive ability, right? YANNICA hasn't changed as well. She's still in shield set. These are her stats: 240-ish speed, more or less. These are critical damage, lower than thingy. Still very nice build overall, especially for a shield set. It does break my heart building one of my OG champions. She's my first ever legendary in this, but I'm so grateful that I actually get to run her in something. That's why I like the WIXWELL comps. These are the masteries that we're running. You know, again, pretty basic. You know, to be honest, retribution doesn't matter because we're always under veils. And then this is when it gets juicy, right? Like, we got some different builds for you. So we've got Unshakable for the masteries here. Again, I'll move myself here. Just to help out resistance. Now, retribution on him doesn't actually generally matter because it's always going to have the shields up. So I didn't really find this a problem, but I did want extra resistance. I was getting resisted a lot. And then I just took Law of Steel, etc. to give me some extra stats and damage reduction as well across the board. My apologies. Now, if you have high level blessing, you could actually take Fears of Presence to increase your HP aura. This is really useful to get a little bit more HP on your builds and like a high level. He was part of a champion training as a fusion and stuff like that. So some of us do have that nice big 4-star blessing. Now, I'm not running it because I actually got the other blessing, which is the epic version on DEMYTHA, and template chains will override it. So I don't want it on the builds where I can possibly use that for something else. To be honest, I don't know if WIXWELL and Brimstone really matter. There's no accuracy on him, so I don't know why I took it. But hey, I was trying out new things. and these are the things that you have to do. I didn't actually show you the stats from EMIC as well. Sorry, let me just go show you this quickly. Been a long day. So the speeds here have been 288 speed, much slower than his counterpart now. 563 accuracy, and you'll be surprised on how many times I got 3%ed today with this ability. It was absolutely insane. Like, that's how much resistance I got, and I still got 3%ed like insanely in the first 5 to 10 minutes. It's like Mischief had like a increased accuracy that we didn't know about, right? Built into his kit because he just kept at stealing and stealing and stealing. It did drive me nuts, so yeah, and stuff like that. So anyway, these are the masteries for him. These are WIXWELL's comp as well. So you can see here, refresh. It's kind of useful, less chance to proc than, unfortunately, than like the live arena set or the 4-piece merciless. So they are better if you can get it, but stats over sets, I suppose, when it comes to that. We still do have reflex, and you don't need refresh. It just generally just helps a little bit as well. Like if you can get that A2 around a bit quicker, or it gets a refresh proc on it, that's super cool. I don't think we got any on my run, but hey ho, you need decent defense, you need decent HP, you need mainly decent defense just so because you can grow the shield, because it does go on that. And again, we got resistance of 540. Again, I explained in the video why I have so much resistance and stuff like that. And there is the speed, right? So I've shown all the gear here, like so. And then we have DEMYTHA and Nemo, right? So DEMYTHA, she's in reflex set. No resistance needed on her. I know some people do build resistance. If you want to build resistance on her, go for it. I took a combinating presence, which is like the epic version of Fiercer Presence, and it says here it doesn't work together and stuff like that. So that's one thing you can kind of do. You just need the speed of around about 280, 284 speed-ish. And then again, if you want to go with high crit damage because you want the high devour on her and you're struggling to get the stats on Duchess, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to build high resistance, you can as well. At the end of the day, you don't have any masteries here, so you could benefit from that. I wasn't going to go and spend 800 gems if I didn't need to, so hey ho, I'm happy that I saved gems. I mean, who doesn't want to save gems? Especially with all the events and stuff going on. Nemo White's blessings, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Cruelty's blessing doesn't really matter. It's just more for stats and stuff like that. You do want a bit of accuracy in a build if you can get it, because accuracy is super, super nice. And then you can see here, she's the fastest at 297. Now, I think the fastest one on my last comp, I think, was WIXWELL, if I'm mistaken, at like 305 with all the stats. So it was much easier to build him here. And then overall, yeah, perfectly fine, right? Nothing too bad about this comp. Anyway, I really hope this helps definitely SP members to go to the next level with your teams. If you don't have a Krisk, now you have a solution to your Krisk. Now the question is there any more hidden gems inside Raidshadowlegends? I've got a couple of ideas that I do want to test out over the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye on the channel. I think there is potentially a few more champions who could potentially maybe even do a better job than DEMYTHA. I'm not going to say who, but anyone who has experience in Raidshadowlegends and has a fairly decent mind when it comes to team building will probably have our idea. Let me know down in the comments as well if you have any ideas. I'm really curious to kind of hear about that. I am doing takeover on Ubex account at some point for hard, so we're going to use a couple of different champions for that team. I will make a different video for hard because the stats, the speed tunes, the champions will be different as well, and I really would like to help pretty much like people that don't have these stats accounts with this as well, or people that have the good gear like I do, and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. I'll stop rattling. Go check out my shard video from earlier. And gym giveaway will be tomorrow, Saturday, on my Twitch stream. So links down below, you know it is. So we're going to give away 540 marble races if we're up for a stream. There will be coaching sessions as well for my Twitch subs and stuff like that. If you have any questions, you can go ahead, check that out on my Discord, ping me, and I'll get back to you quite quickly. And that's it from me today. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Grim Reaper. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.